Track one is Lady Mine. I think it's pretty obvious what that one's about. But musically, I was really trying to do something like throwback and 70s and something that felt like maybe something like what Lenny Kravitz might do. And then, of course, what I ended up with was nothing much like what Lenny Kravitz would do, because he would have kept a lot more control.
This song's a screamer. There's just no getting around that. And there are parts where, when Josh's voice and my voice get to a certain range, you almost can't tell them apart a couple times. It sounds very similar.
I first met Chad when Jonathan and Chad were just starting 604 Records, but it wasn't really off the ground yet, and they were looking for a building to set up their office. And so Jonathan and Chad were taking the day to like drive around the city and look at a bunch of places, and I came along.
I remember John Simkin, Josh's manager, telling me, you know, he's got this talented kid, and he's got a band, and he's got all this music, it's all in place, and he plays every single instrument, and he's got this old, like, vintage Neve board at his house that I think his dad lets him use. And then I would hear these demos, and they were just unbelievable. Next thing you know, Marianas Trench shows up, and they start putting together these albums, and these songs just go to radio, and they sound fantastic at radio.
I've always wanted to sing something with Chad, and we've been best buds for years and years and years. And when I wrote this song, I was kind of like, who can I ask to sing this? And then I was sort of like, who could sing this? And then it quickly became, I only know one person who could sing this. And I called Chad, and you know what? This is true. He actually said yes to singing on the song before hearing it, and I was like, you don't have to say yes. Can you just agree to listen to the song? And if you like it, and he was like, buddy, I'll just do it. He may have been drunk, I'm not sure.
And right away, Josh is just screaming on this thing. And it's high, really high. And I wasn't sure what part he wanted me to sing or what I was supposed to do. And so I started, screaming some parts on it and trying to find little spaces where I think it would sound good, and sent it back. And Josh was like, that's perfect. You got it. Like, that's it. That's all we need. I
also think once him and I start both singing in that range, I joked that we should have changed the title of that song to The Ballad of Two Chainsaws. Just all over the place.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where he wanted to go with it. I wasn't sure if he wanted to go to rock with it or what destination he saw this thing going. And that was kind of my concern with the horns and the harmonica. I was kind of like, it's sort of leaning a different direction. I don't like, maybe try a guitar solo. He's like, yeah, okay, sure. Shreds a guitar solo, sends it over. He's like, what do you think of this? I'm like, dude, it's your song. This is your record. But I mean, like, I just keep making suggestions and just like watch this kid lay down all this great music and fire it over to me and ask my opinion on it.
I think what's fun about hearing both of us on this song is it doesn't really sound like a song either of us would be associated with necessarily. Like, yeah, it's like rockin', but it's not really Chad's kind of rock that he does with Nickelback. It's definitely like I don't think I've ever heard Nickelback doing anything with like a big horn section and stuff like that. But like I knew Chad would sound awesome singing that melody, and he does. He sounds great. And I don't know. I think it's just sort of. I think what's fun about it is that it's unexpected for both of us.
My favorite part of the tune has to be the outro, when there's just this cacophony of instruments and our voices, and there's ad libs going on everywhere, and it gets really chaotic, and the energy level just goes through the roof. And I definitely find myself reaching over and cranking up the volume when I'm listening to it in the car.
My favorite part of Lady Mine is probably, aside from like Chad's great vocals and stuff, I think I really love having the horn section in there, and it's all real and you can tell. I think it's nice and big. Also, I finally got to play a harmonica solo on a song. Matt has been bugging me for years to play a harmonica solo on something, and I finally got it in there. What song of Chad's do I wish I wrote? I think Chad's written a lot of great songs. I think Photograph is an amazing song. I wish I wrote Photograph. That's a great song.
This one time I went to see Josh play at an arena that's right by my house. And I was sitting out in the front right by this piano, and in the middle of the show, Josh comes down and And Josh sits down and he starts playing the piano right there, right in front of me. And there's a picture on the piano, and he turns it towards me so I can see it. And there's this picture of me that's complete bullshit on the internet, where some fan has taken my head and put it on the body of this dude who's just absolutely shredded. And I've been laughing about that picture for quite some time. And he just takes, he's had that picture framed. It's sitting in this silver frame. It's very Liberace of him. And he just slowly turns it towards me. And then the camera gets it, and I'm just sitting there, I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm like, you bastard. He's, and the cherry on top, he's got an amazing sense of humor.
Okay, so I was in Maui with Nickelback, working with them on some writing stuff on an album they were doing. And it was the first night I got there, and Chad and I were very excited to see each other, and we got pretty drunk. And the session was over, and we got a little drunk, and then it was like time for me to go back to my hotel after. So his assistant Bradley, lovely guy, was gonna drive me to the hotel, and then Chad was like, I'm gonna come for the ride. I'm gonna come for the ride. So he gets in the car, and he's playing me all the stuff that he's been working on, because we're working on stuff, and he's just cranking it louder and louder and louder. And like I said, we're pretty good and drunk at this point. So we get back to the hotel, my hotel, which is like this complex, where like every person has like a cabana kind of thing, and we were listening to this music so loud. Poor Bradley too is just sitting there like, oh, you drunken assholes, and we're just like rocking in the car, and all of a sudden the security guy comes up on a golf cart, and he's like, can you guys turn it down please? And we're like, what? And I look over and I realize like Chad has turned it up so loud that you can't turn it any louder anymore. Like it's max volume. I don't even know how it was probably fully distorted and stuff. So we finally turn it down. The guy's like, you guys, it's like 3 a.m. People are sleeping. You're cranking this music. Can you please be quiet? And Chad immediately just focuses on the golf cart that the guy's got. And he's like, look, man, how much for me to get a ride in that golf cart? Look, and then it turned into, we were trying to assure him that if we could take the golf cart, we would be his ears and eyes out there, and that we would keep an eye on the situation. And we're trying to get our hands on this golf cart, and the guy's not budging. And then Chad is eventually like, look, man, price is no object. Just tell me how much is this gonna take? We never got a ride in the golf cart then.